So I think in the entire process, the most important step is the wash and rinse buckets. All right, I got both sides washed up on the wheels. I got the tire foam sitting on the rubber there. I'll go ahead and one over it with the brush, so I'll show you that. This is my rinse bucket. I'll wash this out and put some fresh water in there. Before I get into actually washing the truck, I'll just come over here. Stuff's supposed to be a leave on it, forget it. Just like to give it a little bit more of a run in there. Clean it up. So here's my microfiber I use on the wheels. I'm not going to use this on the car itself, so put that off to the side. I'll dump this water, put new fresh rinse water in it. Get ready to go ahead and foam can it. Get ready to go. Brand new water here in the rinse bucket. Refilled up the soap bucket. Got a wash mitt here. Wash mitt I was using earlier was too heavy, so I just pulled out like the sponge that was inside. This works much better now. First step here is to just spray down the vehicle, try to knock off all the bugs, loose dirt, and then we'll go ahead and foam can in it, let all the suds pull the remaining dirt and grime off, and then we'll actually get to physically washing the vehicle. Now, before I went to the 2-bucket wash rinse system, I would notice when I would use even like a microfiber mitt, I would still get little swirl marks. So luckily with this silver paint, I did put a coat of wax on it earlier, I guess right when I got it, but I haven't seen any swirl marks using this method, so it seems to be working pretty well. All right, here we go. DeWalt's little attachments are pretty cool. Okay. So you can see that nice thick coat of suds there. Again, in theory, should be pulling off the debris that I didn't get from spraying it with the pressure washer. So I'll let that sit maybe 5-10 minutes or so. Got a little bit left here. I'll do one more once over, and then I'll get out the wash mitt and actually put hands on the paint. So I just wanted to point out this runoff area here. You can see the foam, and you got a lot of dirt in that. I'm sure some of that dirt is from the concrete itself, but as I walk around the car, I see it all over dripping off the truck. So that's what we're talking about when I mention the foam blanket that pulls off some of that remaining dirt, so that when I actually put the wash mitt on it, it's not making those full swirl marks in the paint. It loosens it up enough. So most of the foam is dripped off. I can still see some dirt here, so I'll do one more spray over, and then I'll get the wash mitt out and actually start getting some of that remaining dirt off. Okay, thanks. All right, one more. Got a lot of good suds on this. I don't want to apply a lot of pressure. Just going to let it. So now I got suds on here with the wash mitt. Just want to apply light, very light pressure, and just let basically the suds and the mitt itself do the work. That'll help alleviate those swirl marks. And then of course your rinse bucket. Come in here, knock off all that debris, dirt, and go into a clean wash bucket. Other thing I'll do is I'll stay away from the very bottom where you get most of your dirt. I can still see some dirt there. I'll wait to do that part last, so I minimize how much dirt gets caught up in this. A little bit of dirt there. Maybe a little bit more pressure, but not much. It takes that right off. Make sure you flop your mitt. The idea behind a wash mitt is these fibers pull the dirt in, gets the dirt closer to the base of it, so you're not using that dirt. So, scratch your paint. Again, I'll stay away from the bottom section of this, and I'll do that at the very end. Light pressure. Gently avoid this entire rear bumper until that final wash. This way. I'll leave the grill till final as well. That's where you get most of your bugs. So not only let that soap sit on there a little bit longer, but I'm very cautious about getting dirt trapped up in this. And swirling up that paint. This is just a basic wash. I'm not going to wax it today. Not going to clay bar it. Not going to get into super high-end ceramic coatings. Maybe at some point, but don't really have the time for that now. So I can just stay on top of the paint as best I can. So one thing I will say about this paint is I've been very impressed with the silver from Toyota. I've never owned a Toyota before. I've owned one silver car before. This silver is just phenomenal in the sun, in the shade. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. Nice little part here. Grill. I commute about 60 miles or so in one way, I should say each way. Not too concerned about getting every last bug off of here. I definitely want to clean it up a tad. So just hit this once over, and then we'll go ahead and start spraying her down. And I am having to use a little bit of pressure down here, probably more than you should, but again, to knock off most of those bugs. And it's the grill, it's going to get banged up. Here in a minute I'll show you the difference in the water between the rinse and the wash. Right, disconnect the cannon. Actually still have some soap in there. Find out some use for that. I'll go back to my fairly gentle tip there. I'll run this first, make sure this is tight. I don't want that to fly off into the truck. So. Seems to be good to go. And as I go over with the hose now, or the pressure washer, I'm noticing some spots on this. So right here in this area, you see that dirt. I don't know stuff is coming out on camera. And then I did not do the mirrors either. So I know I got a little bit of foam left in that Canon. I'll go ahead and transition back to the Canon. Hit that spot up, hit that. Notice it a little bit back there. Push off the rest and come back and wipe that down. If I missed this mirror, I know I missed the other mirror, so I'll go ahead and do that now while this is connected. Those have been sitting just a little bit. I'll go ahead and wipe them down with a rag now. Just rinse this off in the good water. Very low pressure, that spot. The other side, we'll go back to the water. Back to the rinse bucket. Turn it off. Right, we're about to get to, I guess, the second to last step. It's a two-step process in drying. Right now it's about 80 degrees out. You've got the cloud coverage, but I still don't want to leave the water just sitting on the truck for very long. I'm not running a deionizer. I don't have filtered water. This is just straight tap water in the good old state of Alabama. So I'll be sure to get the car dried off, load off with the leaf blower, and then into the garage for a chamois wipe down, and that'll be it. All right, so I'm a firm believer in the least amount of time you have to touch the vehicle, especially with rags or anything like that, the less swirl marks you're gonna have. So to dry it off, it's a standard leaf blower process. I run an Ego. We got an Ego lawnmower, so this just makes sense for us. We also do lawn and yard and stuff with this, so it works out, serves two purposes. The idea here is to just blow off as much water as possible so that you go to the chamois. It's like much smoother, you don't have as much water pooling up. So hard to reach areas with the rag. Areas like this, you want to make sure you blow out as much water as possible. So it's pulled in the garage. I'm not going to park it in here permanently, just get it out of the direct sunlight. I use this absorber pad. It's kind of, when it's dried out, it's kind of crispy. It's a synthetic chamois basically, but I've had great success with these. So I'll get this damp and then I'll wipe off the remaining water. We're good to go. We'll run inside the house to grab water off the sink because the pressure washer is still plugged in. So now the absorber's damp. Now you can just run it over the vehicle, pull off that excess water. Works just like a chamois. So rotating it fairly often. Now you don't have to apply a lot of pressure with this either. You guys can see, probably, I don't know if it's coming up on the camera, but just with the outside temperature of 80 degrees or so and blowing most of the water off, it's pretty much dry. Just knocking off a few water spots here now. On the other side. It's pretty dry. You wash your car properly and you didn't miss any spots. This should stay pretty clean. Looks great there, but I actually flipped this over. So I picked that up just today, so that lets me know that I'd missed a spot on the truck. So I'll go back over and take a look and see where I may have missed that. What I really like about these synthetic chamois is that you can wash them. I don't know if you can wash a normal chamois. I'd imagine you probably can't because it's a leather. But this, no issues, just throwing that in the washing machine and drying. Make sure it's clean, and then I'll go over the windows, because the windows look pretty dry. In fact, that's just making it worse, so I won't do that. Mirror there. All right. So just dump this. I normally dump this down the curb there, but I'll just dump it here so I can show you guys. So if you guys remember, this was my wash bucket. So I'll pull this out. You can see how fairly clean that water is. Looks like you got maybe a piece of dirt, but with that guard there, that stays below where you pull up to the rack. So it looks pretty clean. Clean water. Here's our rinse bucket. So this is my wash rag, and if you guys remember, wash the truck, pull this off, you dump it right in here to rinse it off. And take a look at the cleanliness of this water. Probably see right off the back how dirty that water is. So that's all the grime. Reason you use a rinse bucket so that you're not pulling from this to then put it on here to then basically sandpaper your paint. Now I'll try to show you at the bottom. You see that grime in there. So I think in the entire process, the most important step is the wash and rinse bucket. So I got a little bit more to clean up here on the front end of that, and I'll spray down this sidewalk. So see you around.